Last night, UFC President Dana White officially announced the end of the Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall debacle, the embarrassment that has been the heavyweight division for the last 2 years at the hands of Dana White. Well, today he did a scrum in the promotion of his upcoming boxing match where he brutally coped with the humiliation that he suffered over the course of the last 24 hours because of his mishandling of the heavyweight division. That, by the way, if you listen to a couple of these clips, which we're going to get to, he's still mismanaging the heavyweight division. He's still doing it right now. Right now. So Dana White's coping over the loss of his golden boy, Jon Jones, that he's been riding so hard over the last 2 years. And now he continues to run the UFC heavyweight division into the ground. We're going to break it all down in this video. And we're also going to expose him as a massive hypocrite. So first, I want to start off with this just because this brings a smile to my face. Look, look how salty he is. This is from last night. This is from last night, boys.
Take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
So there's a couple things about this that I wanted to cover that I forgot to say last night. Talk about burying the lead. This was a 13-minute press conference. This was announced at the 9-minute and 14-second mark. So Jones called you last night. You waited till 9 minutes and 14 seconds into a 13-minute press conference at UFC Baku in the middle of the afternoon to announce it. You couldn't share that news earlier. You couldn't do some grand announcement with Tom Aspinall's next fight, which is what he should have done. And then the other clip I just want to show you again from this last night very quickly. He's asked, what's next for Tom Aspinall? Now, I did cover this last night. If you care to see my initial reaction to everything that happened to this presser, I'll link that video down in the description, but I want to get to the scrum. Listen to this.
Yeah, with Tom Aspinall being an officially champ, who is the #1 contender right now? Whether it's Volkov?
So International Fight Week starts Monday in Las Vegas, and Tom will be in Vegas all week with us, so we'll get together with him and figure out what's next.
The heavyweight division has been stalled. Jon Jones hasn't fought since last November, damn near 8 months ago. Tom Aspinall hasn't fought since last July. You didn't have something? You didn't have a backup plan? You have to wait to meet with Tom Aspinall to figure out his next opponent. By the way, in the scrum that we're going to look at, a media member suggested the most embarrassing matchup, and it would not surprise me if Dana White actually makes this matchup. We're going to get to that in a second. So Dana White, obviously now, 24 hours later, he's doing a presser to promote his upcoming boxing match with Turki Al-Sheikh. And he's asked about Jon Jones nonstop. Obviously, he can't hide from the media here. He has to answer these questions. First thing he was asked about is essentially Jon Jones' retirement. And did they offer him the money that he wanted? Listen to this.
Talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago.
Fight was done a long time ago. I'm sorry to step on it already. Fight was done a long time ago. What does Dana always say? The fight's not done until we announce it. The fight's not done until we announce it. The fight was done a long time ago, man. He says this again in this interview. I'm going to play a couple clips of him saying, fight, if I didn't announce it, the fight's not done. You obviously didn't have the bout agreement signed. Why were you waiting to announce it if it was done? I'm not saying that he didn't have some potential handshake deal with Jones, but Jones was giving every indication publicly that he was not going to be returning to the UFC to fight Tom Aspinall. But fight was done a long time ago. By the way, he's also going to be asked about the recent charges that Jon Jones faces in New Mexico. We're going to break that down a little bit in this video as well.
So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate that there's a lot of reports about figures he was offered? Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
Well, if he was, that's a nice change of pace. I wonder if they went to, Saudi Arabia, or they went to Abu Dhabi to help foot that bill. But that's a nice change of pace if that is true. And that's what Ariel's been reporting for a couple weeks now. Now, the next clip I want to show you is him asking point blank Do you believe Jon Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall? Do you believe that? And listen to Dana's answer.
I'll just come out and ask you. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, you know, I think the reality is whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know, you'd have to ask him that. But, you know, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if...
I don't know. He's 38 years old. You drug Stipe Miocic's dead corpse out of retirement after sitting on the sidelines answering phones to the fire department for 3 fucking years so he could fight Jon Jones over a year and a half after Jon Jones won the vacant title from Cyril Gane, or over Cyril Gane, because Cyril Gane didn't have the title. And then you glazed him nonstop because you were so insecure about Francis Ngannou leaving the organization because you treated him so poorly and tried to scam him, essentially. But this next clip really aggravates me. We make the best fights in the world. He's asked about Francis Ngannou in this interview again. I already covered the one from the UFC Baku post-fight presser, but he's asked about Ngannou in this interview as well. We'll get to that in a second.
If it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them, and it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. You know, we had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see, and that's what we try to do. But
I mean, that's news to me. That is news to me. Made DDP versus Sean Strickland too. Who wanted to see that? Made Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Who wanted to see that? I don't know. I certainly don't know. I mean, this entire year has been dog shit fights. Every time they have a mega fight on the horizon, it never seems to actually come to fruition. Jones Aspinall, not happening. I mean, you go back, the laundry list is so long. They never make the fights the fans want to see. Even the fans want to see Islam versus Topuria. They couldn't make that happen. They could not make that happen for whatever reason. You know, some people have different theories about it. But they can't ever make we make the best fights the fans want to see. Then they serve us up Volkanovski versus Lopez. Volkanovski versus Lopez. I mean, Jones versus Stipe. Strickland versus Duplessis. Colby versus Leon. The list goes on and on. Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira for the UFC 300 main event. Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. There was more undeserved title shots last year than deserved title shots. But yeah, we make the fights the fans want to see. Yeah, it's a complete disgrace. That's not true at all.
the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, you know my philosophy on that, you should do it.
You know he cried about this, right? You guys know he cried about this. Anyway, next question. He's asked about the incident that Jon Jones apparently has charges in New Mexico. This is Dana's reaction.
Did you know about the stuff that came out of Albuquerque last night?
I saw it today. When I saw it today, I said, oh, everybody's going to think this is why he retired. Maybe that is why he retired. Who the hell knows, man? But, yeah, I don't know. These are all questions you got to ask him. We had the fight done. You know, you saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen. And then he changed his mind.
So there you go. He changed his mind. He didn't want to fight anymore. First off, the Albuquerque, New Mexico incident. I covered this a little bit in the video last night. Jon Jones hit with new criminal charge in New Mexico for leaving a scene of an accident. Okay, so here's the charge. Apparently it was from February 24th, but it was just recently charged. It said the woman reportedly told police Jones was the driver of the vehicle but fled the scene on foot. She then called Jones on the phone, and police service aide claimed the person on the phone, who they believed to be Jones, appeared to be heavily intoxicated and made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties. And you can read this article. I'll link this article down in the description. But essentially, he's being charged with a misdemeanor of leaving an accident. Now, Jon Jones has a history of doing that. He did that in the past. He did that back when he was supposed to fight Rumble Johnson. I believe that, what was that, back in like 2014? 2015. We have it right here. Listen, guys. Jon Jones is constantly getting in trouble. Now, this is not official. He has not been found guilty of any crimes yet. We don't know what exactly is going to happen. This is not the reason that he retired, guys. I know people are going to somehow think I'm defending Jones here. That's not what I'm doing here. This is not the reason. Why would he retire because of this? Conor McGregor's out raping up a storm, still getting fight books booked, being found civilly liable. Jones has got in trouble time and time again. Why would he retire just because of this? You think he's just going to retire? Oh, no, I got a misdemeanor charge that I'm not going to go to jail because I'm rich and can hire good lawyers. And there's probably no evidence to support the claim that he was actually there. So he's going to get off even if he is guilty of it. He's going to retire because of this? You think Dana wouldn't make the fight because of this? I'm not sure there's anything Jon Jones could do that would make Dana White say, oh, you know what, Jones, we're not going to pay you anymore. We're not going to make the Tom Aspinall fight. So to say he's retiring because of this, I think is just really, really dumb. Anyone that actually believes that has no real critical thinking skills because he's not going to get in any trouble. Look, again, I don't know the outcome of this. I'm just giving you my educated guess. He's not going to get in any trouble. If he was getting in any trouble with the actual government, there wouldn't be any consequences with the UFC anyway. Unless he's physically in prison, he would have fought Tom Aspinall anyway. So, and this information is going to come out regardless. And my guess is he's going to get off scotch-free. We don't know that yet. That remains to be seen. But anyway, the other thing I want to cover, I just want to rewind this real quick because Dana said it for the second time in this scrum. Listen to it again.
You saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen, and then he changed his mind.
So the fight was done. You saw me talking about it very confidently that it was going to happen. We have to cover this, boys. We have to cover this. Here he is at UFC 309 being asked about Islam Arman.
Makhachev fight.
Oh, Sarukian and
And Makhachev, yeah, in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Is it like already like done or you're still working on it? Because
Did I announce it?
no, I didn't. But you said you're gonna announce it.
So did he announce it? Oh, well, then it's not done. Well, wait a second. You never announced Jones Aspinall. You kept hinting at it. You keep saying, oh, I'm going to announce it soon. I'm going to announce it soon. I'm going to announce it soon. From Dana White's own mouth, unless we've announced it, then it's not official, then it's not happening. Now, there were some negotiations going on behind the scenes. Ariel Helwani's been reporting on that. I'll show you a clip from that in a second. And there may have very well been like a verbal agreement from Jones, but it was still tentative enough that Dana White didn't announce the fight. How many times has Dana White announced the fight and a fighter comes out and says, I didn't even know I was fighting? But he didn't announce this one. He's hinted at it. He's been very confident it's going to happen. But now he needs to cope. Well, the fight was done, guys. I didn't get embarrassed. The fight was done. It's not my fault. The fight was done. He's just subtly blaming Jones without actually blaming Jones because he's still holding out hope Jones could come back one day. And also he knows if he goes hard on Jones, he's going to embarrass himself because he's been sucking on Jones for 2 years because of his insecurity of Francis Ngannou leaving the organization and embarrassing Dana White and making generational wealth outside the UFC. Meanwhile, the UFC was willing to pay him peanuts and hold him hostage. Someone recently commented and said, Joey, you forgot Francis Ngannou held up the division by sitting out. Francis desperately wanted to fight, and the UFC iced him and stalled him because they did not want him fulfilling his contract. So they iced and stalled him. That's why the division was on hold, even though people blamed Francis afterwards, which was a complete embarrassment. One other clip. This is from UFC 314. Listen to this. He's asked about Topuria's title shot.
Promised a title shot.
Who did?
Ilya Topuria.
Okay.
At 155. Is that the case, or what's next for him at 155?
We're working on it. we got a lot of shit to do. Yes, I mean, obviously, you know, he's one of the biggest stars in the company. If we had something in planned, we would have announced that already.
So if they had something planned, it would have already been announced. But yet now he's saying, yeah, the Jones Aspinall fight was a done deal. Well, apparently you didn't have bout agreement signed. You didn't announce the fight. You teased it for 7 fucking months, really even longer than that. But yet you never announced it. You stalled and you stalled and you stalled. And you stalled Tom Aspinall's career. And now you still don't even know what Tom Aspinall is going to do next. Which is even crazier because Dana's still mismanaging the heavyweight division. One more clip of him saying this. This is from UFC 316 when he's asked about Ariel's reports of you were willing to pay Jon Jones what he asked for, and then he turned you down. And he said yes, and then he said no. This is 2 weeks prior. This is what Dana White had to say, and now he's saying the same thing he's being asked about, which is very hypocritical and embarrassing and just showing what a liar he is because he just wants to deceive the media and the public. So again, essentially Dana's being asked, hey Dana, is it true that the Jon Jones fight was done and then Jon Jones changed his mind even after you offered him good money? But that's exactly what Dana's saying now. This was 2 weeks ago. Listen to this.
But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
there's some rumors out there that you guys had offered him his fuck you money and he turned it down.
Unless you hear it come from here or we put out a press release, don't believe any of this bullshit. It's like
Dana White does not want objectivity or good reporting from the media. He wants obedience. He wants them to report what he says, and that's it. He doesn't want them checking with sources and getting other information and reporting it to the general public. He wants to control every narrative that comes out about the UFC, but here he is denying the exact report that he is now claiming is true during the scrum because he is humiliated by Jon Jones and what Jon Jones did to him in his mind. Couple more clips. This next question, I mean, was really humiliating. I mean, imagine a media member asking this. Listen to this. This guy should truly be ashamed of himself. Listen to this.
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems like the most obvious choice would be Cyril Gane for Tom, but is there a chance here maybe that, like, to start the new without Jon Jones era, we should maybe do a big super fight and maybe you can convince Alex Pereira to move up and do an Aspinall fight, something like that? Or what are you?
What a complete joke. What is this, Oscar Willis from the Mac Life? Yeah, super fight with Alex Pereira, the guy that just got 50-45 by Magomed Ankalaev, and his fucking resume is Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill. What kind of super fight is that? A guy coming off a loss of division below? I know the heavyweight division is garbage, and the media members just desperately want anyone that can get them clicks because they're so desperate for revenue because they're basically fighting for peanuts to cover MMA. But have some fucking respect. Pereira fighting for the undisputed heavyweight title. What a disgrace. And this is why fans are truly on their own. There's no semblance of the sport. I mean, to ask that question, to think that's even realistic. I mean, it is realistic. But to even normalize it from the media side of things, it should be, yeah, there's no way Pereira. Does Pereira have to get a win before he would potentially go up and get a heavyweight title shot? And what's crazier is Dana White doesn't even shut it down. He doesn't even shut it down. The mismanagement of the heavyweight division continues. Listen to this.
What are you thinking about the Tom fight?
Well, once I get through today, tomorrow starts International Fight Week. I'll be back in Vegas tonight, and Tom will be there all next week. So we'll sit down with him, see what he's thinking, what he wants to do. He's been great through this whole thing, and literally said, "I'll fight whoever you guys tell me to fight. I'm ready to go." So, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Tom Aspinall era.
You don't really seem that chummy about it, Dana. My question is, how does he not already have this planned out? And what's crazy is Tom Aspinall saying, I'm going to be an active heavyweight champion. And Dana said, we're going to get Tom Aspinall fights. When's the soonest they can get him a fight? He's sat out now for a year, almost a year. It'll be a year in July. A couple weeks, it'll be a year. They're not going to get him a fight until October, November, most likely. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe they'll throw him on UFC 318. Doubtful. Maybe they'll throw him on UFC 319. Doubtful. I would love for them to throw him on next Saturday's card. Throw him on next Saturday's card against anyone. Throw him against Pillsbury Doughboy Kuniev, okay, who got robbed against Curtis Blades. Get him a fight. Make it up to him. Let him fight 3 times this year if he can handle it. I just don't get it. How do we not know? You waited around for over 8 months just to not know what you're doing with Tom Aspinall if Jon Jones is gone? Makes absolutely no sense and continues to mismanage the heavyweight division. Next clip I'm going to show you is him asked, well, how was that phone call like with Jon Jones? What exactly was it like? And basically Dana says, we begged him to come back. We begged Jon Jones to sit on this. Listen to this.
Yeah, so he called us and just started saying, you know what, I think I'm done. I want to retire. And
AKA literally the exact same things he's been saying publicly since last November, even before the Stipe fight. Okay, Dana.
Been a great run. I appreciate everything, and that was it. It was just, he was absolutely positively sure that he wanted to retire, and we said, why don't you sleep on it, and you know, when you wake up in the morning, if that's how you still feel, and
why don't you sleep on it, Jones? Oh, I bet you Dana was livid. I bet you Hunter Campbell tried to convince him. They all tried to convince him to not retire because they saw those money signs from that Tom Aspinall fight. But instead, he's still officially retired. Let's continue.
Because it's scary. I like an active Jon Jones. I don't like Jon Jones with too much time on his hands.
I like an active everybody. I like people being so active. I like to turn them around as fast as we can right after.
You like to turn them around? But where was that energy for Tom Aspinall? They should have been getting Tom Aspinall fights this whole time. Where was that energy for him? You like an active fighter. You like to turn him around. But yet you didn't allow Tom Aspinall to fight for a year. And now you still don't know when he's fighting again. So potentially Aspinall healthy sat out for 16 months. But you love active fighters. Meanwhile, Jones has defended his title once since he won it in March of 2023. Makes no sense.
You know, like Hamzat fast, like during COVID. Yeah, I like guys that fight a lot. So I agree with you.
What's it called?
I agree with you. I agree with you. I like guys who fight a lot. Well, you sat Tom Aspinall on the sidelines and now you still don't know when he's fighting. How could you not have a contingency plan? It was so obvious to the majority of people that this fight was not going to come to fruition. And now you can't, like, they should have announced Jon Jones's retirement, whenever it may be. They should have announced it and they should have said, Tom Aspinall is your new undisputed champion and he will now fight whoever it may be. Because then all the news about Jon Jones's retirement also elevates Tom Aspinall's next heavyweight fight and makes it even bigger. But they didn't have the ability to plan that far into the future to plan a potential heavyweight division without Jon Jones in it. Typical Dana White, typical UFC. Last clip I want to show you from this scrum is Dana White asked very beta male soy boy like from a media member about Francis Ngannou. What about, I don't want to say his name, so we'll call him the Predator. You sound like a predator, buddy. I mean, listen to this. Just ask the question, you bitch.
Can I?
Yeah.
EA Sports, UFC 5, great game. If we could download one downloadable character, this goes by the El Predator. I will not mention his name, but if we did the Predator,
I'll not mention his name. Somebody slap this dude. What an embarrassment. I want, if you, I mean, imagine thinking of phrasing a question like this. Imagine just the lack of confidence you have to have and just being scared and shaking in your, and shit in your britches, shaking in your boots, shit in your britches like they're going out of style. To be like, UFC 5, if there was a downloadable character and it could be the Predator, I'm not going to say his name. Bro, I mean, what a disgrace. That guy, I wish I knew who that was. I wish I knew who that was. What a bum. But anyway, Dana's answer.
versus Aspinall, in your mind, dream matchup, how would that go?
The Predator.
Ngannou.
Huh?
Who would win, Ngannou or Aspinall?
Ah, okay. That his name is the
Speak
Predator?
without not spoken.
He said the name not spoken of. Shut your mouth.
Francis Ngannou. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't. Yeah.
Dream match, if it, like, how would you see Tom?
You'll have to play that one out in your head because I don't see that happening. Yeah.
I'm not a fan. You're not a fan of KOs? You're not a fan of a good backstory? Oh, you're not a fan of a fighter that you tried to bully mercilessly, who you tried to ice and you tried to character assassinate, and then they got one over on you and made life-changing money elsewhere and literally ruined the heavyweight division for years to come because you're a greedy bald fuck. You're not a big fan. Dana White could save the heavyweight division right now by trying to find a way to bring Francis Ngannou back. Tom Aspinall, first title defense against Francis Ngannou, the uncrowned UFC heavyweight champion. Imagine the publicity he would get off of that, but he would never do it because he just can't take the L. And also, Francis Ngannou's not going to sign a long-term deal with them because last time he signed a long-term deal with them, they then proceeded to bully him and stall him out and ruin his career. And then all the fans turned on him as well. So, you guys, if you liked when Dana and the UFC turned on Francis Ngannou, you have to accept the heavyweight division that we have today, which is an absolute abomination. The fact they're talking about Alex Pereira getting a heavyweight title shot is a complete and utter abomination. And Dana White just coping brutally over Jon Jones's retirement. This is going to sit with him for many, many years to come. And the heavyweight division is probably never going to recover from the absolute debacle of the last 2 to 3 years between Dana and the Francis Ngannou saga, then Dana and the Jon Jones saga, and the Tom Aspinall saga. It has been mismanaged from the very beginning. And now we still don't know when Tom Aspinall is going to fight next. We don't know when that heavyweight title is going to get defended again. It's going to be over a year probably until that heavyweight title gets defended again, unless it's October 4th, which may very well be. But there you go. That wraps it up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.